So today's project combines two different things. One is I've always wanted to know what soil mix performs best. Now the soil mixes that I have are from major garden centers, and they're not appropriate for mango trees. They're appropriate for annuals and some potted plants, of course herbs. And that brings me to my second thing. Of course I like growing mangoes and sugar apple, avocado, lychee, papaya, jackfruit, black sapote, longan, starfruit, and several other tropical fruits. But I also like having flat leaf parsley. Having your own flat leaf parsley plant is so much better than having to go out and buy flat leaf parsley. It's a plant that grows very well in South Florida in the winter time. So, of course, I went to find a perfect parsley plant. The ones that I saw were just really not worth the money that they were charging for them. So I thought, I will plant parsley seeds. I can do this. Parsley should grow rather quickly from seed. And I couldn't find parsley seed. I looked a few times at the major garden centers, and those little slots for flat leaf parsley, nothing in them. I have no idea what's going on with parsley seed supply, but I found 15,000 of them. And I'm just gonna take their word for it. I am not gonna count and see if I got my full 15,000 seeds, but this gives me an opportunity to combine two things: growing parsley and testing out the soils. So what we'll do is fill up a bunch of pots, and of course, being an environmental nut, I always have a lot of pots around. These were from somebody else's project, I think planting impatiens or something like that. And so of course I have the pots waiting for use. I've had these for a few years, in fact, in the shade house, and now they get to be used. So I'm going to fill up some pots with the different soils, mark them, put parsley seeds in, and probably test a few different fertilizer mixes, at least a couple, to see if that affects the parsley, the health of the parsley plant, and also the vigor. And so let's get started on filling pots and putting parsley seeds in and see how this one goes. So carefully open this envelope because I don't want 14,000 seeds in the ground. Oh, they've even put it in an inner pouch. All right. So that's nice. We don't have to worry about, I had a jar here for parsley seeds, but we can just use this in this convenient zip bag, and might eventually put it in the jar, but this is great. It's the first time I've ever had 15,000 seeds of anything. Oh, I've also made some markers for the different mixes. So we can just write on these. This is just a plastic yogurt container. So we can put down what mix we're actually using in that tray, and then we'll also add additional information once we apply fertilizer to some of the pots. So we've got our markers, got our pen, and in case we need to make more markers, we have a knife. The knife just cuts right through the plastic. And I have my gloves. So the first, I have to free up my tray space here. Some evidence that they've been in the shade house. I've got 5 of these. I wonder if that's the right amount.
A tray for oil.
Yeah. So this is really an action shot. It's very exciting, loosening that. Get this. Okay, so we're getting there. So the first one we'll do I'm guessing this is Lambert Garden Soil, 100% organic. Okay, so this one will be Lambert garden soil, not even potting soil. Did you want to write it so they match or not? Let's see. Double L, Lambert garden soil. Okay. That is the worst looking Lambert I ever saw. See if we can save it. Not really. Don't do an A on the crease. Okay. So that's number 1. Get that out of the... Well, this one's sort of already open for us. The next one is going to be Miracle Grow Moisture Control Potting Mix. Oh, protects against over and under watering. All right. So we'll try this one out. What's our next one? So this looks interesting. Just rip right up here. This is Kellogg Garden Organics, all natural raised bed and potting mix, organic plus. So let's see how this one works. So this one is Dr. Earth Pot of Good Organic Natural Crafted Blend All-Purpose Potting Soil. Wow. That's a long title. It's not going to fit all on our little marker. But this one has a hole in it here, so looks like a good place to get the all-purpose, premium all-purpose soil out of. The last thing we're going to do is plain old topsoil. Topsoil is going to be the cheapest alternative, and we'll see how it compares to all these other mixes. Okay, so here are the 5 test trays. Lampert looks a lot like just plain old peat moss. So if that's the case, I'm guessing it'd be cheaper to buy the peat moss. Miracle Grow, I can see there's some little fertilizer in there. It looks like slow release. And it's got a lot of organic material in there. I'm sure peat moss, and then maybe little wood chips. Kellogg, it got wetter than a lot of these. Looks like possibly a little bit of perlite in there, and a lot of organic matter. We've got some little fine wood chips. Dr. Earth, I'm seeing the wood chips. I'm guessing there's fertilizer in there, and a little bit of perlite also. I guess I could have read the bags. They might have given me ingredients. Topsoil. This is pretty high in organic matter for topsoil. I think that they mixed some mulch in with that, very fine grade mulch. But we'll see which one performs the best. I put 618 seeds in here. Just kidding. There's some seeds in here, parsley seeds, and I think I'll just use about a pinch, 1 pinch. And a pinch is, of course, not a great measure, but it's a quick measure. And it seems to me that at least my pinches are about 10 to 12 seeds. And I'll try and spread those around a little bit in each pot. So we'll speed this up so you don't have to endure it. Okay, so we got most of those 618 seeds used. And so now our job is to water all these trays. Just sprinkle the water. You don't want to wash out the potting soil. That would be another experiment altogether. Anyway, and then we'll put it in a protected area so that it doesn't get too much rain. And we'll just try and hand water these until they sprout and become a little bit more able to fend for themselves. So we're doing a potting soil and parsley test. We've gotten 5 different kinds of potting soil, and I put parsley seeds in all of them. And I'm getting impatient. So I soaked parsley seeds in warm water for a little more than a day, and I want to see how fast these germinate. So what I've decided to do, each of these trays has 15 pots in them. So I am going to use 10 pots for the parsley seeds that have been soaked, in addition to the parsley seeds that are already in there, and then there'll be one row per tray that is just the original planting. So we'll see how much of a difference that makes. Unfortunately, with those soaked parsley seeds, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to plant them because dry seeds just go so easily into the dirt. But I will do my best to get a good planting of these seeds, and hopefully we'll get some germination very soon. It's been 19 days since we first sowed parsley seeds into 5 different kinds of potting soil. We wanted to test the soil with parsley seeds, see how quickly the parsley seeds germinated, and then how well the plants grew. So there's really 2 different aspects of this test. I should mention that about 5 days after sowing the first seeds, I was impatient, and no germination, of course. I wanted it to germinate overnight while I was sleeping. That would have been good, but 5 days, 5 nights, no germination, which is perfectly common for sowing parsley seeds. But, I can be an impatient person. So I looked up online how to hasten the process, and yes, soaking it in warm water overnight, soaking a bunch of seeds in warm water overnight will give you a little head start on the germination. So I did that, and so 2 rows out of each tray got the extra parsley seeds that were soaked overnight. And so basically there's not much difference in the age of the original seeds versus the original seeds with the added soaked seeds. They're about the same stage of growth. So basically you save 6 days if you soak the seeds first. But the main thing that I was wanting to check was, stage 1 was how well the seeds germinated in the 5 different kinds of soil. And you can see there's a big difference. Here in Lambert garden soil, which was a very fine mix, I was a little concerned about it because it just didn't seem to be holding the water. In fact, I soaked the entire tray in a shallow water just to get some moisture into that soil. And it looks like they're doing the best. Miracle Grow's doing very nicely too, and Dr. Earth. And lagging behind in this phase of the test are Kellogg Organic Plus and Topsoil. As I say, the germination is one factor, and then we also want to test how well these seedlings grow, these newly sprouted parsley seeds. Once they grow a little bit more, we can probably tell what soil is best to a little bit older plant. So anyway, there's our test so far.